It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theater, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware as you cannot hide from the rage. That's what I was supposed to say. What's next?
I don't know. You tell me.
Did you forget to write it down?
Did you forget to write something down? Your name is Bryce.
My name is Bryce.
Yeah. And you're part of what? Something?
Film Rage crew.
Right. That also.
That includes Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Unker.
Oh, was that his problem? He didn't have his horse?
He didn't have his horse.
And also we have Murray.
No.
Hey, Merman.
Yeah.
I don't know what that shirt is. I probably asked you about it before.
Still my Angry Viking.
Angry Viking. And what?
That my BFF bought me.
All right.
That's right.
Who's that?
That'd be me.
The guy at the other end of the table.
Oh. I feel like I might have messed this intro up.
I don't
Little.
know. It's only been like 72 of them that you've done that, sort of. People are expecting
Out of the
it.
272 we've
That's
done.
not bad. That's like 1 out of 4.
After 273 episodes, yeah, 1 in 4.
Not bad.
Our listeners kind of expect it.
Yeah.
David will send us a message. David, we trust David.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Okay, well, thanks to all been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, and especially our intros, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, though, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And we'll watch it if played anywhere in the world. And we don't care what genre. We'll just watch it. Because that's what we do. We watch terrible movies to fuel our rage. And on that note, let's get to raging. I think you need to crank that a bit. What would the amazing merman predict? What would the amazing merman predict? Will he predict the rage or will he predict the
Mondo.
Will he tell us all what Jim and Bryce saw at the movies? Here he comes and now you better watch out, kids. He's coming swimming to you. Swim, Murray, swim, Murray.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Swim, Murray, swim, Murray.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Swim all the way to our hearts, our little hearts.
Well, ironically, I don't have any rages this week. I'm probably wrong about all of them, but yeah. So yeah, 5 movies you guys got to.
We did.
Good for you. Well,
Almost 6.
Technically 4, unless you actually didn't see it, the other one at the festival, which
We didn't.
I thought you were going to that.
No, we didn't see anything at the at a festival.
What were we supposed to see at the festival?
Anora was the big one at the festival.
Oh, Anora,
yeah, we didn't see that.
Sold out all 3 times that it was there.
But we knew it was coming out, so that's why we didn't see
Right
it.
on.
We might have missed my favorite cake instead. So
That would have been awful.
and that would have been the worst day of my life.
All right.
Well, technically you wouldn't have known.
Heretic. Which of the 5, I may have gone to that one because it had the Hugh Grant,
The
being
hugeness.
very creepy, and had a couple of those Bible thumper girls who always knock on your door and try to sell Jesus to you. So yeah,
Come and knock on our door.
I probably would have tied them up and done things to them too, just to get them to stop.
That's not what he did, but
Yeah,
okay.
If he was a serial killer, is all he's saying.
no,
Yeah, I thought he
He's
was.
not meaning if they come and knock on his door now.
He is absolutely not a serial killer. Wow.
Yeah, from what I saw of the trailer, which I watched again, it seemed like one of your what do you call it? Cube movies.
Okay.
Cube, the Maze Runner, whatever.
Yes, it's just like the Maze
Yes.
Runner.
There you go.
If the Maze Runner was
If the Maze Runner was nothing like the Maze Runner,
yes,
that's this
movie.
I don't know. So maybe kind of scary. It's an A24, so
It's A24, so you know it's going to be at least.
I know you guys aren't going to rage about it.
The odds are that we won't when it's A24.
All right, well, let's go Matt for Bryce and Jim Mondo.
All right.
Man for Bryce, Mondo for Jim. If anybody's keeping track at home.
Yes.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, they do. In fact,
This is the only segment that people listen to this and then they hit stop
and then they don't listen
and then
to
they
the...
then they go
watch- they only watch
go
the
onto the
movies.
website, see if you were right, and that's it.
Wow.
That's right.
That's very sad.
That's the feedback I'm getting.
Then we
Is
have
what it is.
Blitz, which is looks like World War II period piece.
Yes.
It's exactly what it
With
looks like.
everyone's
and
favorite
exactly
Irish
what it
girl.
is.
Yes.
Saoirse Ronan.
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 I don't know.
I think I got her name. Did I get it that time?
I
No,
think you're
not
pretty
even
close.
Nice.
She answers
I
to
don't
that.
know.
Shar. Ronan.
So-
Is that right?
No, Swedish chef. That's not her name.
I think I nailed it.
Anyway, it's a period piece. I'm sure she was great in it, but probably double man.
Okie doke.
Double? Nah. If you're keeping track at home.
Anora, which, as I mentioned, was at the International Film Festival.
Of the Calgary
I think
variety.
it ran 3 times, and all 3 times it was sold out before the festival even started.
Wow.
Because it won the big prize at Cannes or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, did it? I didn't
It
even
did
know
win
that.
some prizes.
People didn't even know what it was about or if they were going to like it. They just know that it won the big prize, so they wanted to see it.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what prize people do.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about it. That's called Double Mondo.
Okay.
Double Mondo. In case you're keeping track at home.
I thought you were keeping track. Is you have the pen in your hand?
He knows.
I remember.
Yeah, right.
I got a mind like a steel trap.
Well, luckily for you, I wrote it down.
Nice.
Nice.
Small things like these, which I had never freaking heard of.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did.
Small
Still don't know what the
things
hell.
like these.
It's got the Sam Jackson and a couple other people in it that probably
I
you guys like.
think you're in a different movie.
No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Sam Jackson was in it.
No, Sam
Sam Jackson is
not
in the
this movie.
piano lesson.
That's
oh,
right.
sorry. I watched them all today. So who the hell is Small Small
Cillian
Things
Murphy.
Is Cillian Murphy.
Cillian
right.
Murphy.
I jumped ahead of myself.
Also
So,
in Ireland.
Cillian Murphy also like some kind of period piece. And there were nuns in it, so I know you guys love
Nuns
your
are
nuns.
fun.
You love your nuns, so let's go double mondo with that one.
All right.
Nuns.
Then we go to the piano
Nuns
lesson,
are
which
good.
does have Sam Jackson in it.
Yes, that
That is-
does have Sam Jackson.
And
That
a
is
few other
correct.
African American actors who
That
you
is
guys
correct.
enjoy.
Yes.
But it still looks pretty slow. Let's go double man.
All right.
Double
Yeah.
man.
So yeah,
The
no,
psychic powers are
no
pretty
rages,
strong.
which I'm probably wrong about.
Yeah, never know.
Wake me up when it's over.
All right, wake me up before you go. It's time to speak about Heretic, Bryce. So,
Okay, Heretic. Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints
yes.
arrive at Mr. Reed's home, as he has requested more information about their religion. This is basically where the film begins. From there, Mr. Reed convinces the pair to come into his home, where he proceeds to interview them about their beliefs. He has convinced them that his wife is home and is baking a blueberry pie. Through a series of back and forth, they are confronted with the question of whether they believe in a higher power, if their belief is genuine, or do they believe it because they've been told to believe it? Kind of like, do they believe that Mr. Reed's wife is actually in the kitchen because he told them so?
Yes.
Or is she buried in the cellar?
Maybe.
That's my vote.
So the first 2/3 of this are brilliantly executed with great acting, fantastic writing, and genuine tension broken up by some extremely funny moments. Then in the last third, there is less talk and more action.
Yes.
Things are revealed.
Yes.
And if you are comparing the last third to the first 2/3, there is a drop off in entertainment value.
Yes.
But that is not to say
What?
that it isn't entertaining.
What?
Just not as much as the first 2/3. Now, as for Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed, he has once again upped his game. It seems as if every year that goes by, I get like another performance from Hugh Grant that now I go, okay, well, now that's my favorite performance from Hugh Grant.
Yep.
And it's crazy because, you know, there've been
How
movies
can he get
later-
any greater?
How can he get any greater? Because this back half of his career, well, not back half, let's say back third
10
of his
years,
career,
yeah.
he's just been absolutely brilliant in everything he does. And he just gets better every time. Like, this is literally now my favorite Hugh Grant performance of all time.
It's tied for me, but
There you go.
because I can't stop thinking about him as an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty freaking outstanding.
Yeah, well, and with this back end of his career, it's shown him to be one of the actors that when they are in a movie, I want to see it now. It's like, oh, Hugh Grant's in it?
I want to see it. If nothing else.
I'm lining up.
He just had to stop doing rom-coms, that's all.
Yeah.
Anyways, this movie was like crazy entertaining with a slight dip at the end, but it is still completely mondo. I enjoyed the first 2/3 of this so much that I don't know what they could have done to for it to drop off so badly and it would still, it's just that I was so into it for the first 2/3.
Oh yeah.
And then I wasn't quite as into it, but all I'm doing is comparing that to the first 2/3, and even if this was in a movie that wasn't as unbelievably good as the first 2/3 of this, that movie still could be mondo.
Yep.
The first 2/3 of this was so good, so entertaining. This was just so worth watching. I love this movie. This was mondo, and Hugh Grant. My God, is he good in this?
Well, we'll talk more in a minute, but let me tell you what I thought
Yes.
of Hugh Grant. Is now the face of evil. He used to be the face of rom-coms from Britain. But I guess cheating on your wife with a hooker can change a man for the better, I guess, because I haven't seen him in anything lately that he isn't absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm not saying we should all go and cheat on our wives, but if you're looking to escape the hell that is rom-coms, just like my man Pee-wee did, do something that changes perception of who you are. And I think that's probably why Hugh Grant just said, you know what, I don't want to be in rom-coms anymore. I'm going to cheat on my wife. I don't think it was because he was sexually addicted or, anything like that. I think he said, you know what, I'm done with rom-coms. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do with me now, Hollywood?
So it was a career move.
It was a career move. He may not have worked for a little while, but people knew it's kind of like, Hugh Grant will be back. He's too talented not to be back. Right? That's what I'm saying.
That's a theory.
Right? That's my theory.
It's a theory, yeah.
Yeah, so which I kind of think that this film also changes our perspective. It makes you question religion in a well-written and suspenseful way. We learn about religion and Monopoly and the Hollies and Radiohead.
Yes.
And our one true religion. And I'm not going to tell you what that is, because you have to see this movie to find out. This has some great surprises, and Huge does an outstanding job, as does the final girls. I'm going to say the Mormon heroines. Not Mormon heroin, which is a different thing you can buy out of Utah, but the Mormon heroines, played by Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who are basically the only three people in this, aside from a weirdly surprising sighting of, I almost called him Gopher Grace, but it's Topher Grace, who looks like he's started making his way back into Hollywood lately.
Yeah, he has.
He's been sneaking in everywhere. He's in that new Mark Wahlberg.
Well, he wasn't even recognizable in this. When I saw the credits after, I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "That's who he was."
Yes, he totally didn't look like Topher. I know, it's so awesome. There are some super funny bits and does take us places that perhaps we have seen before, but this casting and script is so well crafted. The journey we go on is a suspenseful ride and no spoilers, but the miracle at the end may or may not upset you. And there is a miracle. Personally, I believe in miracles. Not Christian miracles, maybe, but slasher horror movie miracles, because that's exactly what we get. And if you truly believe in the religion of horror movie miracles, we discover at the end of this movie, maybe absolutely for you, or if you don't believe in miracles, like some people, which I thought was going to be Bryce. I thought he doesn't believe in miracles, but apparently he does. He believes only in the truth of miracles. Horror, movie, slasher, miracles. 'Cause I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. And this is Mondo.
There you go.
I got a couple of unpackings.
All right.
One is the greatness that is Hugh Grant. I mean, you were talking a bit about it, but it wasn't fair because I didn't have a chance to also emote about the hugeness that is Hugh Grant. Like, when was the last movie that you saw him in that you can remember, the top of your head, where you're like, oh my God, Hugh Grant is in this. And it's another fucking rom-com.
Yeah.
When did he start being outstanding?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you remember?
That gangster movie was pretty good.
Yeah, it's been in a couple of gangster movies.
The one where he goes into whatever that deli or shop in England there and beats the crap out of 2 kids because they are being rude to the owner.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that one.
There was an interview with him recently where he says, I've been bad for quite a few years now, and I like it.
Yeah, he hasn't been the hero of the movie in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't been the, ladies' hero in a long time. But
Although he's in Paddington in Peru, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, but he'll be the bad guy in it. I guarantee it.
Is there going to be a bad guy in Paddington?
But
there has to be somebody.
I mean, just when you go through like what he's done, everything he's been in, it's just he was great in Heretic.
He was in Paddington too. Was he evil in Paddington?
He was even
too?
great in Unfrosted, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
He was great in Wonka.
And Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was
Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. He was the best thing.
He was the best
there.
thing in there.
Operation Fortune was not a good movie.
Oh, okay. Remember,
he was great.
The line in the sand was, "Did you hear about the Morgans?" Remember when I had to watch that?
Yes.
That was the last movie where I went, "Oh my God, please don't have it be in another movie."
Cloud Atlas.
And this is the reason why I think we can't give up on actors. Because remember when we all hated Tiffany Haddish, and now as a dramatic actress,
she's good.
She's doing some good
Yeah,
stuff.
you're right. Did you hear about the Morgans? Is about where things
Yeah,
turned
that's
for
where
him.
he fell off. He met
Next thing you know, he's in Cloud Atlas, and everything got better from there.
He met SJP, and it was the end of that rom-com career.
Yeah.
Oh, The Gentleman. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes,
Yeah, he was great in that.
He was. I would actually like to talk about Chung Hoon Chung. He did the cinematography.
Yes.
And that was just amazing. The guy, all of a sudden, American directors are hiring him because he also did the cinematography in Wonka, which was amazing.
Yeah.
He did the cinematography in Last Night in Soho. Not a great movie, but
the cinematography was brilliant. Well, we liked it. It just wasn't amazing.
Did it in Hotel Artemis. Like, how good did that look?
Yeah, totally.
Like he really and he did it in It. But this is a guy from way back that was doing Old Boy. And,
oh, geez. Yeah.
So you knew, and Stoker and like just
Old Boy.
Old Boy is just and Thirst and like all these awesome
the
Japanese
great horror
Lady
movies.
Vengeance.
Oh yeah.
He was the cinematographer
How
in
old
all
is he
those.
now?
He's like 1,000 years old.
All right. Well,
But
you know
man,
what?
but it's just
Apparently-
nice to see that even now, like everybody noticed how great this guy is, and now he's just getting some huge projects. And it's good on him.
Apparently, cinematographers can get old and still be talented.
Yeah,
but directors
he's actually not that old. He's like 59 years old or 54 years
well,
old.
it's funny because you think Old Boy's not really that old of a film.
No.
You always think it is because
yeah,
it seems like it's been in my life for so long.
It does seem older than it, but yeah, it was 2003 when Old Boy came out. Huh.
So okay, going back to this movie, because
yes, but yeah, I just wanted to put a shout out to him because this looked so good, and as soon as his name came up, I'm like, I know that name, and I went and looked him up, and I was like, the guy's just been so good for
knocking
so
it out of the
long.
park.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you shouted him out.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ending.
Yes.
Did it bother you? The miracle.
No.
Okay. It didn't bother me because I was too already in it, and I'm like, well, if she can do stuff with something happened to her, Huge can do stuff happening to him. It only kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So I don't want to spoil anything for you guys with this. You really have to see this movie in theaters if you can see it. So
this was just so good. I was just like, how entertained were we for that first hour especially? It was just like, and there was just like there was that palpable tension, but there was all the humor infused with it, and just the performances of not only Hugh Grant but Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who play Sister Pax and Sister Barnes. They were to go head to head with with Hugh Grant in this movie, and to hold their own.
Oh yeah, they did.
They were so
to try and pick somebody who is mesmerizing in this would be hard.
And it's just very, very well written.
And if Murray saw it, we might all pick a different person.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about Blitz. Blitzkrieg. Or Blitz, the shorter version, the British version.
Yeah.
So Blitz is the story that takes place during the Blitz or Blitzkrieg in London in 1940, where millions of people were being bombed by the Germans. This particular story is about one family, which consists of a mom named Rita, played by Saoirse Ronan, a son named George, played by Elliot Heffernan, and his grandfather, played by the one and only Paul Weller, as Gerald. And I say, yes, Paul Weller, singer and musician extraordinaire. And who knew he also knew how to play piano?
Who the hell is that?
Paul Weller is none other than the lead singer for The Jam, the greatest British rock group since the Beatles.
Still lost me.
Also, on one of the top 5...
He's the mod father.
He's the mod father. That's right. He is the mod father.
That's what he's known as.
He's known as the mod father. I think the Who wanted to be Paul Weller. That's what I think. Okay, so it takes place over a few-day period.
I think they might admit to that.
Yeah, they probably would. Why would they not? They both ride scooters.
Yep.
So it takes place over a few days and really gives you a feel that these people, what they would have gone through, as they not only have to deal with German bombings, but flooding, fire, families being separated, and trauma after trauma after trauma is inflicted on them, where hundreds of thousands of people are displaced. And of that, George's mom decides, after such dismay, to send her son out of London for safer places in the country. Well, we catch up with him, and then we spend 2 hours of living with George and his mom as they endure countless torment and suffering, as George decided, you know what? I'd rather jump from a moving train than go back and be with these other people. He'd much rather be with his family than a bunch of racist assholes. FYI, George's mom was Saoirse Ronan, and her dad, a black man who gets deported mostly because he's black, and defended himself from, again, racist assholes. Common theme here, I would say, in case you didn't catch that, there's a lot of racist assholes in this movie.
Yes.
So the story shows the love of this family and how close they are. In fact, as a grandparent myself, every scene with George and his granddad had me wellering, see what I did there? Up with tears, as I had connected so early on to their connections we saw that was formed between each of the 3 family members. It's, I love seeing these kind of films where the family are connected, even though it was torture for her to have to give up her son to think that she was going to make him safe. The story is tragic and humanizing as well as dehumanizing at times. They cover so much ground about the specific time in history, including racism, child labor, women's rights, and as how they are support how the women supported the war effort, and ultimately leave us with a few messages of both hope and actual despair. It was tense, emotionally charged, and tender, and I loved these characters, especially our boy George. At times this film was chanting, I'm thinking probably something like Oliver Twist. At other times maybe like Empire of the Sun. The visuals in this are stunning, and yes, there was maybe some things that were too obvious, and probably we have seen these many times before, but I didn't care because I was too connected to these characters. I love this film. It was Mondo for me.
Yeah, there was a lot of Oliver Twist in this.
Yeah, it was. But okay, what do you got? What do you got, mister?
I just wasn't as moved as you were. I mean, the performances were fine. It's one of those movies where everything's fine, and I recognize that it was very well made movie. But I didn't connect to the characters like you did, and I didn't feel a whole lot for them. Like I at no point was I choked up about anything. I don't know. It just, the whole thing just fell flat for me. It was okay.
Well, I think it's one of those movies that if you can't connect to the characters, you're not going to be able to be, because the story does really revolve around George. And so for me, I think the way they introduced the love of his grandfather and his mom to him and how close they were.
What did this take place over? It was supposed to take place over like
3 or 4 days.
I thought it was like 2 or 3 days, but okay.
Yeah. Well, let's say
the way they were talking about it, because
yeah.
they went and they at one point they're like that she just let him go yesterday, and I'm thinking, okay, so much has happened in this day.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. There is no way that all of this happened in one day.
Of course it could happen.
No way.
Yes.
And then when we get to the third day, this is something that if they didn't have a little bit of dialogue here and there telling you that only a couple of days had gone by, I would have swore this took place over a month.
Oh no,
or 2 months.
Absolutely bought that.
I did not buy that all of this could
of course
condense
it was
into that.
So they talked about the fact that he only drove an hour on the train outside of London before he jumped off.
Yeah.
So he's in a suburb of London. I mean, how an hour train ride?
That's
hey,
fine.
Murray, let's go back to grade 5 math.
A lot of stuff happened in this movie.
A lot of things did happen in this movie, and they were able to cram it in
and that's my point. They crammed so much into this movie,
which I was fine with, because
some of it just didn't work.
This is the shit that did happen over these 3 days.
Yes, this is stuff that would happen, but there's no way that it could happen to one person.
Absolutely,
in this condensed amount of time. At any rate,
I think you're wrong.
It was a very crowded movie with a lot of characters and a lot going on.
Yes, and
it was meh.
All right. Well, okay. So I got a couple things to unpack. So the PG rating on this, I thought it was another one of those. Yeah, I thought it was another one of those films, because there was things in there like if what's his name? Eli Roth directed this, it would have looked a hell of a lot. It wouldn't have been PG. There's a scene in particular, this train scene, where this boy gets killed, and
yes.
it still had the level of suspense, but at the same time, we didn't need the gore.
No, and you didn't need the gore there.
Yeah, and they had a few things like that, just like the sex scene in the train station, or. I'm trying to think, the explosion, how the bomb and the dance hall explosion. Yeah, you never get to see the actual explosion.
No, and you just see the
aftermath.
You just see the aftermath.
Like, there's just things like that I think these are the kind of movies that a family can watch together because they can root for the kid together. I think when you see a movie like this,
I don't know that I'd be rooting for the kid.
Yeah, he was a cool kid.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for the kid, but
you're not just rooting hard for him?
Exactly. I'm like, I hope the kid's all right. It's not like, go, kid, go. It's
I wanted him to thrive.
I hope you survive this.
And then they'll put things in it like one person's a dick to him. And I want to say too much, because I think people should still see this in cinemas before it comes out on Apple on the 22nd.
They will have to rush.
Yeah. So hurry up and rush and see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's her face? Woman of the Hour. Similar type of thing where they could have made it gory. They didn't. She kept it kind of PG to let an intro to horror. This one to me is like an intro to war. So
yeah,
I appreciated that.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's actually kind of, it goes to show you if you make a film well, you don't have to fill it with shocking stuff. Stuff can be shocking without going over the top. You just have to, as you say, you don't need to show the actual act. Sometimes just showing the aftermath is enough.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Anora. So, like most of Sean Baker's film, this one takes time to finally get into. But once you do, you are trapped deep in this rich, contrasting characters that captivate you. This tragic tale of love, betrayal, disappointment, and maybe love again introduces us to a Russian mobster spoiled brat son who lives in America and falls in love and gets married to a stripper, turned escort, turned wife. This film feels raw and real, but at the same time, at times almost slapsticky, if that's a word, and hilarious, as we meet the bumbling idiots who are the goon squad who are responsible for keeping our Russian gangster spoiled brat son in line on behalf of his parents. This is reminiscent of an updated, more porny Pretty Woman meets Blind Date meets The Three Stooges.
More porny.
It's very much more porny. The journey, though, is really about our lead, Anora, or as she goes by in the film, Annie. This 2 weeks seeing her become part of this mob family takes us places we don't expect. And although it started to drag, I feel a little bit in the middle. It needed to be over after the second and third subplots developed. But by the time we reached the end, I was back in the feels of this film. I really love this film. At the end of it, it dipped for me, and then I was like, oh my God, this fucking needs to end. And then they put the very end on it, and they capped it with this beautiful ending that I was just like, and yes, I did bawl again in this one at the end. and that makes it Mondo. This film, I got some unpacking, but what did you think about Anora or Annie?
Yeah, it's Sean Baker. He's kind of a strange cat when it comes to making movies.
Yes.
Quite often, his characters in the movies, I always find myself kind of hating everybody every time I watch one of his movies.
Well, in the first
and I'm
half
like,
an hour, I hated everybody
exactly,
so much.
and I'm thinking, how am I going to invest in any of these characters? I hate them all.
Yeah.
And then slowly, Sean Baker has a way of creeping up on you.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're actually like it, and you're rooting for a certain someone, and you're hoping that things are going to work. And you're like, how the hell did he even do that? I hated this person a half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Or 45 minutes.
Yes, I was hating the movie, actually.
And that's the other thing. This reminded me of the Florida Project.
Totally.
Because the first half hour, I was ready to... I never leave a movie. And I was ready to get up and leave the Florida Project. Because it was just bugging me so much.
Yes.
Like, it's irritating me. And this was the same. I was irritated by this movie for like a full half an hour.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden...
It's like, wait, something's happening here.
And it didn't even I don't even realize it. Like, I'm hating it, and then the next thing I know, I don't just warm up to it. It's like instantly I'm in.
Yes.
And it's like, I can't even pinpoint when it happened. How can I be hating
You know
this
what
movie
I think
and then
it happened?
bang, I'm in.
You know what I think it really happened?
Yeah.
When the one goon guy comes in.
Yeah, probably.
It's when he comes in, because it's a character that you instantly like.
Yeah.
Instantly like that character. And actually, the Three Stooges-ness of those...
just
of those,
so well written.
Of those, all three of those...
all the scenes in the church where he's taking the phone when it's like everything in this was so well done, and there is so much tragedy in this, but there's so much humor in this.
Oh God.
And it's just walking that line constantly, and I'm not sure that anybody else is really making movies like this other than Sean Baker. And I swear to God, he's trying to irritate me with his movies for like a half hour or so.
He's like, you know what, I'm gonna test you.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, and by the end of it, you couldn't be more invested.
Oh yeah.
And he's got that knack, and it's so bizarre.
And the ending?
And you almost think, like, why does he want to irritate me at the beginning?
Well, because he wants you to really hate characters. He really does want you to hate characters.
And then he wants to turn it on you, and he does it so well. As I say, I can't... This reminded me so much of like, it's nothing like the Florida Project, other than the fact... how I felt. And by the end of it, just like the Florida Project, it was freaking Mondo.
Yep.
I love this movie.
So, what did you like?
Mondo.
Mondo. So, like Murray, the first half an hour of this, you basically get, like, imagine like a party, 20-year-old partiers for half an hour where they're just having sex, doing drugs, going to parties. That was the first half hour. Playing video games for half an hour.
Just nonsense.
Like, you can imagine how irritated we were watching this first half hour.
And just cuts, like, boom, we're here, we're there, we're there. We're just, like, everything in this first half hour was made to just absolutely grate on my nerves, from the way it was cut to, like, everything. It's just like, I'm
hating this so bad.
So bad.
Me too. But okay, so okay, without saying what the ending is, did you not think this was the absolute perfect ending to this movie?
It was absolutely the absolute perfect ending.
Yeah,
it
like,
was so good.
If there was probably 10 different ways this could have ended.
Yeah.
And he found a way to make a perfect ending to this film.
Yeah.
So if anybody sees this movie in cinema, be prepared. You will be hating this for the first half hour.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if the rest of the people in the theater when we saw it, right? They were as laughing as much at the parts. Like you and I were like almost rolling on the floor laughing at the Three Stooges-ness of this.
Yes.
But we were alone in that. There's other people did not find this as funny as we did.
Yeah. No, man. I was blown away by this movie.
Yeah.
As I say, I'm now looking forward to seeing every Sean Baker movie. Having said that, for some reason, I still haven't seen that Red Rocket movie. And I'm not sure why I haven't seen it.
It's really good.
Yet.
Well, we should watch it together.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Small things like these. Sometimes doing the right thing, Murray.
There's a lot of religion in this.
Yes, it is. That's why our image for this poster this week is very religious.
Heretic, big time religious.
Yeah.
Anora has a lot of religion.
Yeah.
Well, it's got, the guy that's looking after Buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Small things like these is super religious.
100% religious.
Yeah, and then the piano lesson's religious. Okay, so
it's small things like these is probably the scariest of the and Heretic was in this episode.
I don't know about that. Okay, so anyway, I was going to say was sometimes doing the right thing is not always easy to do. That should be the subtext of this film. Not necessarily based on an actual event, but based on an infamous nunnery/convent
There's quite a few of them.
Known for mishandling and taking unwed mothers' children. This is a story of one man, Cillian Murphy, who we soon realize is struggling with a heavy burden, both from his past and his current situation, and where he's at. Taking place in this small Irish Catholic town where the church, and in particular these select nuns, I'm going to put that in heavy quotes, rule the town. Cillian plays Bill, who he himself was raised by an unwed mother, but by a kind benefactor who, without them, he may not even exist to this day. Now, I'm saying this, although this does not come out easily in this story. Most is done through snips of his past and his brilliant portrayal of this soft-hearted man whose heart is weighted heavy, heavy, heavy. But we don't fully realize this. Why? Until we get further along in this film. It slowly, very, very slowly strings us along. Some people may have even found this pacing a little too dry for them, but for me, I was so connected to Cillian's performance, I couldn't get enough of it. Not since the strudel scene in Inglourious Bastards has there been as suspenseful a scene as we get with Bill and the evil overlord Mother Superior in a scene that I never wanted to end. The tension was so intense. I was just like, oh my God, please don't make this scene ever end. I want the movie, the next half an hour, to be just this scene. This film is a character study for the ages. Most of the way through the movie, not much feels to be happening. And you get to feel it through Bill's eyes. But slowly throughout the film, small secrets are revealed. Right up until the very end, you still don't fully understand everything that is Bill. But the ending is perfect. And you have this great sense of doing the right thing, are always the right thing to do. Cillian and this film were so completely mondo. This film blew me away. I loved every single drawn out, stretched out influence that we got from Cillian Murphy's character. I freaking love this movie.
Flat out, this is the best performance of the year. Cillian Murphy is Bill Furlong. There's nothing even close. This is the best performance of this year.
Anybody ever?
In
the history
year.
of the universe.
No, it's not in it. Although it can be discussed, but this is by far the best performance that I've seen this year.
I believe one of the movie reviewers on the trailer said Cillian Murphy rips your heart out.
He does.
Yeah,
So
he
there
does.
you go.
And he doesn't even really say that much to do
No,
it.
he doesn't. It's
And that's the beautiful thing about this. There is so much just. I've never seen a movie where at the beginning it doesn't even show. They don't even really focus in on his face much. We're seeing him from like weird angles. We're seeing him from behind. We're just seeing him kind of slouched over a lot.
and you're just seeing you're just seeing that he's going through his everyday routines.
Yeah.
Like I could see people who don't like thick, heavy weighted dramas like you and I do would hate this film because there's nothing told to you. You don't see anything about what's happening, why it's happening, and it's like there's something there, but you don't know what.
Yeah, and the scene you're talking about between him and Emily Watson is just like I could watch that over and over again. It was just so thick with just.
It was like,
It was-
okay,
it was a heavy
You know, in
scene.
Glorious Bastards, right? Like that scene with the strudel.
Yeah.
When you're there and you're like, does he fucking know? Does he not know?
Yeah.
Like this scene is just like, what is gonna fucking happen?
Yeah, and Cillian Murphy would just like he barely says anything in the scene too, and it's just, but he says so much, and it's just like, it is just so good, and you can. Like if there's never been a movie where I've sympathized with a character so much because I feel the fact that he's got daughters and he's and any move he makes
is going to affect
is going to
everything.
negatively affect possibly his daughters, and some bad things could happen to his daughters because these Roman Catholics, they don't mess about,
and
man.
the nuns.
Nuns,
these were not nuns of fun.
Yeah.
These were nuns of
These Magdalene
fun.
laundries, man. You do not want your daughter anywhere near them.
Yeah.
But it's
But they
crazy
give the
that
best education.
these places were like right next door to the schools.
Well, they taught the schools.
Yeah.
Yep. In Ireland, they do.
Yeah, and no,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is just a scary movie, and I've
See,
seen
this was
so
the
many
scariest
movies.
movie.
This was the scariest movie of the weekend.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Is it's just it's amazing that it took till 1995 for them to get rid of this. Like that's crazy.
Church and state, man,
yeah.
like that. Like Murray says, like
Yeah,
in certain countries that are
so
Catholic,
so much power. Like they could control people's lives, and that's just wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
But I was just blown away by Cillian Murphy though. Like I know he's a good actor. I mean, I've seen Oppenheimer. Hell, I've even seen
Red Eye.
Red Eye. Anything he's in.
I've seen
Batman
28
Begins.
I've seen
Batman
20.
Begins.
I've seen 28 Days Later.
Yes, and
we've seen his wiener.
He's
even.
great in everything. We know he's a good actor, but this was like literally one of my favorite performances ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
I'm not gonna deny it.
Man, this was good.
You know what? I'm going out.
Anyways,
on a
this
limb
was
here.
Mondo. I don't know if I said that yet. but
Yeah, I
this
figured I was
Mondo.
waiting for you to actually say it.
This is
so that Murray can press some buttons.
Nothing else to do right now.
Hey, you're adding your 2 cents. Okay, so here we know there's been news that
Yes.
Daniel Day-Lewis is coming back.
He is.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
He's making a movie with his son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wonder if Cillian Murphy's going to be in that movie. Because this is what, and as much as we can't make Cillian Murphy mesmerizing because of his early part of his career, and we already talked about him in the past. I think he got taken out because he came up against somebody that was more mesmerizing. But where he is now in his life and where he's acting, to see him against, in my opinion, the greatest actor of all times, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, wow.
If he's in that film with
He's in
him.
the top 2.
Oh, sorry. Who's
Yeah,
God.
you know who he's gonna
Oh
say.
my God! Yeah. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I can't remember which one.
That would
of
be
these-
Mr. Ben Affleck.
I can't remember which one
the
of
finest
these.
actor of mine or
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
else's generation.
and
one-
only your generation.
One of these, your boy produced. I can't remember which movie it was.
Which one? Small
I
things.
can't remember which one.
Well,
Oh.
you can look that up. Well,
On the
you're,
list of credits, I saw his name.
BA.
BA, yeah.
Well, BA knows how to produce stuff.
He didn't direct
He
it.
just doesn't know how to
produced it.
act.
He produced it. Whatever
Yeah.
one of these.
Yeah, no,
One of the 5 from this week he produced.
yeah, no, it was this movie.
Was it this one?
Yeah, small things
'cause-
like these.
There you go.
Him and Ben
And-
and Ben
he is-
Affleck, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Yeah.
Yeah, because they.
But Matt Damon was actually a producer. Affleck was just an executive producer.
Yeah, he just said, "Give me some money, Benny."
Exactly. He
Yeah.
needs money now.
Benny, give me some money.
But yeah, no, it was this movie.
All right. So, okay, just I want to recap where we're at.
Yes.
We had Mondo Mondo.
Yep.
We had Mondo Meh.
Yep.
We had Mondo Mondo.
Yep.
We had Mondo Mondo.
Wow, this is a good week.
This is a pretty good week for
good
5
week.
movies. And now we have the piano lesson.
And ironically, I've been almost right every time.
There you go.
I thought, shouldn't one of these be terrible? And I'm watching the trailers and I'm like, no. Every one of these is a movie that you guys will love.
There you go. Okay.
If I watched any of them, I probably would have raged at least on 2 of them.
I don't know, Murray.
I think I might have.
Maybe.
You might. Yeah, I think maybe Anora, Murray. Although if he would have made it past the first half hour, he would have been okay.
Well, the first half hour you said was like Pretty Woman porn, so
yeah. Oh,
I probably would have enjoyed that part.
Okay, well, yeah, but you don't like.
Then it would have slowed down.
You don't like 20-year-olds who are annoying.
No,
getting
'cause
stoned
all
and
20-year-olds
having sex.
are annoying. Yeah,
exactly. There you go. Sorry, any 20-year-olds.
The millennials. I profusely apologize, but yes.
Okay, number 5 of our movies at the cinema, The Piano Lesson.
Yes.
So, be it metaphorical or literal, the ghosts of our past are there to haunt us.
Mm-hmm.
Or, in regards to our ancestors, define us. I'm feeling a little poetic this week. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go.
This film feels a lot like a stage play.
Yeah.
And the dialogue
100%.
at times is delivered in the same way.
Yeah.
So if you're in for that, then just if you're not in for that, just be prepared for that if you see this film. The story follows a family whose life revolves around this piano. And their grandfather, who was a slave, carved their family into the wood of his owner's piano. Then they traded the piano for his family. Each character is very well defined and delivered, and the cast is all outstanding. For me, in fact, I found the one that was not the most outstanding. I'm not going to say who it is.
I'm going to disagree anyways.
Well, yeah, but it's because apparently you like stagey acting, and that's what he was giving.
No, there was method to the madness, my friend.
Okay, I understand method. I'm saying I didn't buy the method, is what I'm saying.
I'm saying that he had to be that. Anyway, just get on with your review, and then I'll say what I have to say.
So, but what I did find I was most fond of was Danielle Deadweiler,
Yes.
who played Bernice, and Ray Fisher, who
Lyman.
plays a family friend named Lyman. At times, the music is awkward based on the scene it is defining. And other times...
The music is so awkward
It's
sometimes.
very awkward. But then other time, it was right on point.
Yeah,
So if I could analyze, if I saw this 2 or 3 times, maybe I could see why the music was so awkward.
That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out. Like, he obviously made the music that awkward for a reason, and I don't know why at this point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because for that first little bit, I was like, what is going on with the music?
It's taking me out of the movie. It was
weird.
Yeah. So this film also, it took me a while to fully embrace the dialogue, especially by John David Washington. For me, I was not enjoying his first, let's go 3/4 of this movie. He was annoying me. And I know he was supposed to be annoying me, but his acting was annoying me.
Yeah,
I think he's better than this.
Yeah, that's... Okay, go ahead.
But by the 3/4 in, with our characters developed, I got connected finally. Then, after we have the whole story unfolding, I felt it found a way to start getting draggy. And then it got spooky, and then they found Jesus, and then everything was okay. And then I felt, you know what, this was meh. I kind of wished I liked it better, but I didn't fully like this whole movie.
Yeah.
I liked the ending.
Yeah.
I thought there was some good things in it. Some of the performances were fantastic.
Yep.
But I just felt it wasn't a complete package for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those movies where it started out, and I was like, hey. But yeah, this slowly won me over for all the reasons that you said. On John David Washington's performance as Boy Willie, in my opinion, it was very good, and it had to be the way it was because he was so over the top and everything, and Bernice, Danielle Deadweiler's Bernice, was so stoic and reserved, and you needed those two complete opposite dynamics for this story to work, in my opinion. And I thought that the way that he delivered was just like was great. So I'm a little confused by why you were so. You even mentioned it during the movie to me.
Yeah, I did.
Like,
I was not liking his performance. The reason I say that is because we've seen him in similar performances, not necessarily this period in time, but in similar performances. We've also seen other characters. I felt the acting was way too stagey, and it was him that was driving that staginess. The rest of the characters felt more natural in their roles. He was kind of going.
I thought everything was stagey in this movie, and I thought it was. And
I just thought he was overly stagey,
and that was just fine for me.
And I usually love him, so the fact that I couldn't connect with him, and I couldn't, and it wasn't because. Like, I like annoying characters. You know me. If they're annoying, that's usually my favorite thing.
Yes.
I bet in this he was annoying me because I think he could have done better.
Yeah, I disagree.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad you do.
Having said that, Danielle Deadweiler was the star of this movie.
Oh, she was outstanding.
She was absolutely outstanding. There were
and Lyman.
so many
Don't forget Lyman.
Lyman was fine.
He was outstanding.
I wasn't as enamored with Lyman. Lyman had some very good scenes. Lyman also had some very funny scenes. I enjoyed Lyman, but I enjoyed everybody in this. Sam Jackson, I don't think I've enjoyed him in a movie in forever.
Because he doesn't get cast well, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, what was the last movie we saw him in? Argyle or something like that. And we're just like, why did they even put him in here? He's wasted.
But this was. I think I liked this more than you did.
Yes.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Did you like it enough?
I don't. It wasn't quite Mondo. It was so close.
Yeah.
But there were some little.
So you're saying it's a double man?
Yeah, it's a double man.
Would you like some useless trivia?
Yes,
Sure.
we love useless trivia.
Samuel L. Jackson, John David Washington, Ray Fisher, and Michael Potts all starred together in the Broadway production of The Piano Lesson.
Well, there you go.
2022 to 2023.
There you go.
Wow.
So it was directly ripped from a Broadway play.
Who knew?
Which is why it looked like a Broadway play televised.
It wasn't just look; it felt like it.
Also,
Who directed the Broadway play?
I don't know, didn't say.
Because it's kind of weird that Malcolm Washington's actually John David Washington's brother.
Oh, wow.
This is the other piece of trivia, which I didn't make the connection until I read it. John David Washington, who was in the movie, Malcolm Washington, who directed it, are the sons of Denzel, which I did not know.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Did you know that, Bryce?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't know that. Really?
No, yeah.
That's a fact? How did I not know this?
Denzel's their dad. He also produced this
He did produce the movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your useless trivia for the day.
Well, and you know, no, I'm not going to say it. I just think John David Washington's a better actor than his dad. That's all I'm going to say.
I would agree.
I would not agree.
Yeah, well,
you haven't seen the last Macbeth he was in with Frances McDormand, where she took her foot and crushed him.
I don't like Shakespeare, so I wouldn't have watched that.
Yeah, well, you like Frances McDormand.
Everything else, I've
and you
seen
like
Denzel, and I love.
And you like Denzel, so
I love Denzel.
All right, well,
and I've seen like one movie that his son was in. So
remember The Equalizer 3? Did you love that?
Well. Not all of it was gold. He's still good in it.
I remember Equalizer 3.
Oh, I remember.
He was still good in it.
And I did not like it.
And I did not like his
It doesn't matter if the story's crap. He's still good in it.
I didn't think he was good in it.
No.
Yeah, he was. Anyway. We disagree.
Denzel!
Anyway, are you guys done now?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Anything else we need to say about the piano?
No. I guess not.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I like the ghosts.
Ghosts are spooky.
Oh, baby.
I don't know if I'm up for this, but I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
Music. It's very important to all of us, no matter what we listen to. Last week, you guys were talking about a certain composer who has done a few film soundtracks.
Mr. Williams?
You may have remembered.
Mr. Williams?
That's right, Mr. John Williams. Since I happen to have Disney Plus at the moment for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, there's
Oh, did you watch it?
I watched the documentary Music by John Williams.
I was going to the other day, but I'm going to soon.
I know we don't talk much about streaming things anymore, but honestly, I would have gone to see it in the theater if it was actually released. It was produced by Steven Spielberg and Ron Howard, two of my top 5 directors of all time. It's directed by some French guy I never heard of, but that's beside the point. It's not an understatement to say that the music of John Williams was the soundtrack of my life. More than any rock music, pop, country, heavy metal, or any other kind, the music for my favorite films of the 70s and 80s were 100% all his. Jaws, Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Indiana Jones, E.T., and of course my favorite, 1978's Superman. The list is just too long to name them all. In fact, I didn't even realize how much his music was affecting me growing up. He also composed some of the most recognizable TV show themes from the 60s and 70s. Now, about the documentary.
What?
It's not sexy. It's not controversial in any way.
Why should it be?
Much like the late Jim Henson, John Williams leads a fairly boring life by Hollywood standards.
Maybe boring people are the most talented. Man.
I don't know if you guys would like this film. It's so Hollywood, and you two are not about that.
We are kind of anti-Hollywood.
You like your quiet, independent, 3-hour foreign films with all talking and no action.
Yes, that's us.
There are a huge amount of interviews with the biggest names in Hollywood who all have nothing but great things to say about the man. But it's about more than that. It's about the music. Just listen to the music. All the great soundtracks he's composed over the years. And try not to feel inspired or at least uplifted in some way. Like, you know the songs as soon as you hear them. Every single piece of music from every movie I remember so vividly from my childhood just made me feel good.
Hooks.
These days, I need it more than ever. Between what's going on in the world and in my life, the music of John Williams is a welcome relief from the harshness of real life. For that reason alone, I suggest people should check it out. For me, it was definitely a mondo.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
And that you don't normally love documentaries.
I don't.
So.
Don't usually like documentaries.
Yeah,
no,
unless it's about somebody that's important.
somebody that I know.
Yeah.
The Jim Henson one was awesome.
Yeah.
Also Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice. Well, thanks, Mark.
Oh, you might like it. It's like got good music.
We do love
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Sweet, sweet rage. How I love you so. Alright. My rage this week is a double banger. Do I have to see the fucking trailer for Wicked in front of every single movie that I've seen? Not only see it, but now they've got a third trailer.
Yep.
So it's like by the time this movie finally comes out, I'm going to hate it so much because I'll have despised how many times I've fucking seen that trailer.
I'm getting hyped. I hope there's a fourth trailer.
I want to punch you in the face right now. Because that
Give me more Wicked trailers.
It's now annoying me.
More
and
music.
then on top of that, we also saw Glad He Ate Her 2
Yes, you did.
trailers in front of every movie I saw too. So we saw 5 movies. I got Gladiator and the Wicked film in both of those. All 5 of them. I'm like, what the hell's happening right now? I'm like, first off, 2 movies I don't even want to see because I've seen the stage play for Wicked. It was great. We didn't need a movie. And then I've also don't want to see Gladiator 2 because it's going to be stupid. It's going to be horribly stupid.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah, so stop putting
But I
these
will
trailers.
disagree, 'cause
Can they not put other
getting pumped for
trailers?
Wicked.
We're seeing like art house
Give me more
films.
Wicked.
We're seeing art house films, and we get to see fucking Wicked. Like it's the most
gonna
Hollywoody crap fest that's ever going to be made.
Hollywoody crap fest.
And we're watching art house films. Play some fucking art house trailers for us to watch. Don't inundate my brain with Holly crap.
Is most
You still got
independent art house companies can't afford to put out trailers. That's the problem.
Yeah, so they
The
keep
entire
putting
budget
out,
is actually making the movie.
Making the movie.
Well, you know what? It takes seconds to make a trailer. You just clip a couple pictures of Cillian Murphy in a movie, and there you go. There's your trailer.
Maybe they couldn't afford to pay the editors.
I could edit some of these trailers together. If someone should pay me to do it, I'd make real trailers.
There you go.
None of these crappy ones we get. Anyway, that was my rage. I hit the wall.
But
with
you had a
Wicked.
double banger. Was that both of them?
Yeah, it was.
The Wicked Gladiator II 1-2 punch.
Oh,
1-2
the combo.
punch. I got punched in the face by Wicked, and then I got punched in the nuts by Gladiator 2. It's like,
I'm so not looking
Fuck
forward
off,
to
both of
Gladiator
you.
2.
yeah,
I bet it's going to be awesome.
it's gonna be.
Full,
Plus, it has
full
Denzel
disclosure,
in it.
I'm actually not really looking forward to Wicked either.
Okay, good. It's because of all the trailers.
It has nothing to do with the trailers. It was before the trailers even hit the screen.
Go watch the stage play before the movie comes out. Find it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not.
You got money and
I'm
time.
not going to
Yeah,
do
just
that.
fly to New York. I'm sure it's still
Fly to
on
New York.
Broadway
It's
somewhere.
It's in
Yeah,
London.
that's okay. Yeah, my
Is your trailer going to be, or sorry, your trailer, is your rage going to be how you fucked up our intro tonight?
no, that was pretty bad though, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was going to be my rage.
Like I was thinking, man, we should maybe start this again, but then I'm like, nope, we don't cut, man.
No way.
Or
There's
maybe
no
we should
editing.
maybe we should write it on the agenda. Oh wait, we do. All he has to do is read it now.
I know. He does. He promises to not be prepared, Murray. That's his
I don't need to read it. I got it.
All right.
It's
perfect.
time to feel the rage.
His level of preparedness is about my level of caring
There
right
you go.
about now. So we're battling.
Hey, man, I mentally prepare. I don't like actually do the work.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so anyway, we got you sidetracked. What is your actual?
That's how I got
rage
through
this
high
week?
school.
Almost forgot my
I
rage.
didn't study for
Here-
any tests, and I still got
Wait,
through.
Hold on. This will get it back.
No, just stop or I'm going to forget my rage. Sit down. So, my rage this week is if you're going to release a movie in theaters, release it in theaters. I'm sick of this. It's coming out in theaters this Friday, and then in a week or 2 weeks, it's going to be streaming. I don't like it. It doesn't get people out to the theater at all to watch
Well,
them
not when they know they can watch it at home.
when they know they can watch it at home in 2 weeks. So,
Yep.
can you please push it back at least like 2 months?
6
Yeah.
months maybe.
Like even 2 months, I'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
At least it's got some time to have some traction in the movie theater.
Yeah.
But now it's just I hate this. Oh, it's coming out in theaters today, and like what was it? What was Friday?
Blitz is coming out
On the
and-
20th or 22nd or something.
and The
And
piano.
so is the piano lessons
Yep.
coming out on Netflix. So
Yep.
2 of the movies that we saw, this I want everybody to go see them in the theater, but you can sit at home and watch them in another 10 days or so. So I don't understand. I don't like this condensed theater release. It's stupid.
Yeah, no, you know what? I 100% agree with you, and that doesn't happen very often, except for in most of the movies this week.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, before we end this rage, even though it's not really rage, because we didn't have any movies that we raged over, but
No.
one thing I want to know, because the amount of great films we had this week,
Yeah.
can you possibly, in your mind, rank these films that you to your enjoyment level?
Enjoyment.
Because you
level.
gave 3 Mondos out and 2
I did.
Mas, and I gave out 4 Mondos and 1 Ma, so we know which one's going to be at the bottom for me. But
Yeah, I mean, at
okay,
the-
if you have to pick your favorite movie of this week, what was it?
I can go. My bottom movie's Blitz. My second from the bottom is the piano lesson, and then I have a hell of a time with my 3 Mondos
have
because
to-
they were 3 completely different
Yeah.
movies.
I'm thinking that Heretic.
Heretic's maybe the 3rd best of them,
Yeah,
and the other 2 I can't separate.
small things
I'm
like
gonna
these.
say small things like
is
these
number
is
one.
probably number 1, just
Yeah.
because I that performance is literally my
Well, and the
favorite
movie is
performance.
just so
But yeah, that performance. So I'm just telling you, Cillian Murphy
Yeah.
this is as good as maybe anybody's ever been. It's
My-
so good.
Mine would have been exactly the same, except for I would have put the piano lesson
That's
bottom,
a bottom.
Blitz
Yeah,
above it.
that's fair. They're all good movies, though.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
All right. You're going to have us see some for next week, aren't you, little buddy?
I guess so, if you guys are ready for it.
We are, because we don't have that many movies in theater next week. We have 2.
Well, as I said before,
It's Tom Hardy.
yeah, Bryce tried but could not get rid of Tom Hardy.
Yeah, he
So,
did. Because
let's
he was
give
better
give him another chance.
than Riz Ahmed.
I didn't try to get rid of Tom
Yeah,
Hardy. I just
I kinda
spoke
think-
from my
I
heart.
kind of think you did.
All right, so who's
Anyway.
Tom Hardy against now?
Well, as
Is it
luck
Viola
would have it,
Davis?
speaking of blitzing,
Oh.
there is a war movie he was in
What?
with somebody else who is surprisingly still on our list.
What?
Oh, I don't want to watch that movie.
Well, you're gonna
again.
have to.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, but I just don't want to watch it again.
bad.
That would be Tom Hardy and Mark Rylance
Yeah.
in Dunkirk.
Oh!
Yeah.
Why? Dunkirk's like...
Dunkirk is a fantastic
And they're
movie
both
that I
in it
really
for more
don't
than
want
like
to
5
watch
minutes.
again.
So there you go.
I just don't want to watch it again.
Well,
Not
you're
too bad.
gonna. So suck it up, princess.
But by the
You know what,
way,
I now- but
this
now-
is.
Oh, just so you know,
I can already tell you who's going to win it, but I'm
At-
going to watch
at
it
some
anyway.
it's gonna be
point-
Mark Rylance.
It's going to be Mark Rylance.
Yeah,
There's I'm convinced that nobody can out mesmerize Mark Rylance.
Unless Mark Rylance is now in a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis when he comes back.
Yeah. And just so you know-
Depending on the movie,
Yeah.
man, Mark Rylance will give him a run.
and
Mark
just so you-
Rylance is crazy.
And at some point
talented.
down the list here, there's
Yeah.
going to be a face-off involving a Star Wars movie. So
Oh!
get ready for that.
Oh, Adam Driver and somebody.
Just because there's nothing else.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll happen. eventually.
Nice.
Whatever.
So
I'm excited.
you just be grateful for Dunkirk.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that war movies. I don't need to see more.
I don't
than
like
once.
them that much, but that was a good one.
It was an excellent one. I just don't want to see it again.
well, you're gonna.
too bad.
Shut the hell up.
Last week on Rage or Dare. After the initial shock of his current situation, Bryce finally chose to take Jim's rage. And choose he did, pulling the third in the original X-Men trilogy, X-Men: The Last Stand. I guess you were too afraid to pick a horrible sequel from me, Bryce?
Maybe.
This week, it's Jim's turn to rage or dare. It's funny how every time it's Jim's turn, he takes his dose of rage like a man, whereas our baby boy Bryce whines like a little diaper-wearing baby man.
Because it's never Jim's
Just
turn.
thought I would remind him of this. Come on, Bryce. Let's check in with our little baby boy Bryce and see if the powers of James Marsden's adorableness back in the day overpower his habit of picking horrible movies. I'm not sure why his eyes aren't open to this. Oh, that's right. He plays Cyclops. If he opened his eyes, we'd all die. Yes, go on. Okay, Cutesy Pie James, keep those eyes closed, but only for a minute or so of screen time, and keep picking those movies we can dare Bryce to see.
I mean, I'll be honest. I started watching this movie and
Fell asleep?
No. The opening scenes we're already getting like CGI Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen as they've tried to make them look younger. And I'm like, wow. The CGI for this hasn't really come a long way in the last 40 years or whenever the hell this was made. Yeah, what was it? 20 years ago?
It was a while ago.
Yeah, last 20 years, let's say. So I'm like, because I'm looking at this and then I'm looking at the CGI in Bloody Here or whatever the hell it was called. Yeah, it was about the same as far as making people look younger. And I'm like, well, this is really quite annoying.
Why did Zemeckis
But then,
direct this one
but then,
too?
no, this was Brett Ratner.
It was. It was the
So yeah,
the
so
Rush
then
Hour guy.
then we get into the movie and there's a lot of character development with all these and a lot of relationships and I'm caring about these characters.
You
Yeah.
caring about people?
And I got
Oh, sorry,
to
they're mutants.
the thing is, I don't know why this was in the bag. I mean, was this a great movie? Of course it wasn't. None of the X-Men were great movies. None of them are terrible,
Bites
though.
your tongue.
I
Oh,
could
right,
sit
'cause
there and-
it's a superhero movie, so
It was
it's
a
meh?
superhero movie, so is Meh, is what it comes down. I mean, honestly, that's what it
Really,
comes
he
down
doesn't
to.
even need to watch these
Apparently
anymore.
not.
Even You know
So
what? We should get him.
I
watch
honestly
Blue-
thought,
Oh,
okay.
remember he liked Blue Beetle? He gave it a
Yeah,
mat.
yeah, I
Do you remember
remember.
that? Oh,
Yeah.
did he give
There's
Black Adam a mat too?
I think
he
so.
might have.
I think.
Yeah, so,
He's
I don't,
like, oh,
so
The Rock.
why would you put this in my bag then, just to prove a point?
Well, because I just really wanted to find out if James Marsden
Yes.
can actually pick a movie that you actually didn't mind.
Yeah,
He did a lot of
Apparently,
crying.
there was a moment where he did.
He did a lot of crying in this one. I know that.
Yeah, he did some crying. He was barely in the movie. I mean, he cried and then he kind of went away.
He
went
still
away.
picked it.
He got Thanos.
He got finished.
But yeah, I mean, the special effects in this were not up to par. Like even for the time, they were not fantastic. But you know, I still care about these characters. I don't mind X-Men.
All right, perfect.
Hugh Grant, or Hugh Grant,
Grant.
Hugh
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman.
Huge Jack.
Hugh Jackman is always entertaining. Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. I could watch them in anything.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong here.
All right.
What's wrong? I don't understand why this was in the bag. I really
You
don't.
really don't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not great. It's definitely not a rage. It's totally
I
meh.
think you know what?
It's a
I just think-
superhero movie, so it's meh.
you know what? The funniest thing about Bryce in general is action movies, which ultimately are also superhero movies.
I hate
but they're-
action movies.
Exactly.
They're
so
his
he hates.
kryptonite, I
He
get it.
hates action
Actually, that's
movies.
not true, though. I do
Yes.
like. I
You
like
like
action,
good action
movies.
movies.
Okay,
You don't.
was Drive an action movie with
Gosling?
Gosling, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't strictly
That was an
action.
action movie, right?
It wasn't.
No,
it was
it was
more
a
of a drama.
slow-paced action
It was more of a
movie.
drama.
They had like 2 chases
Okay,
and the rest was all
that's
slow.
what all action movies should be, though. Because Drive is freaking brilliant.
But
I
like
love that
two-
movie.
so like two
that's
action-
what I want. All
so like
action.
2
movies.
action scenes and the rest is just all talking.
Yes,
There
that's
you go.
what we don't need.
That's not an action movie.
and that was
Yeah.
Drive, so it had
that's a drama with some
it
action.
had
in
car
it.
chases in it. Although they were
Actually-
kind of weird car chases. Like,
Well-
it was more of him being patient and like parking and like waiting for stuff to settle down and then like driving a little bit.
and just being awesome.
Yeah, it was,
As the
it was such
Gosling is.
it was such a good movie.
There you
And
go.
I'm like that should be the template for
I'm not
action
saying
movies.
I hated this movie, but yeah,
X-Men Last Stand.
and in the
Yeah.
whole X universe,
Okay.
is one of my least favorites.
X-Verse?
Because of the story.
They are
and,
all
and, the,
they were all equally man.
and some of the stupid things they did with it, like the
Like
way.
what?
Well,
What was stupid?
Wait,
yeah, how many years ago is this? Going to give away a spoiler?
yeah, sure.
Sure.
Well, they freaking killed the professor.
Yeah.
Like that was stupid.
Was it?
Then they brought him back at the end of the movie in the freaking end credit scene. Like that's stupid. You
So
can't
it's a
kill
super,
the. you
no,
can't-
it's a superhero movie. It's fine.
I mean, in Logan, it's one thing because he's freaking old and he's losing his mind. But to have his own X-Men kill him
Yeah.
with a blink, I'm like, why would you kill that character? That's stupid.
That was so cool though.
Then the whole
he got like disintegrated.
and the whole
He was all shaky, and then all of a sudden,
anti-mutant serum
he like
which
blew up.
turned mutants into humans.
They had to show how
I
powerful
don't even want to
Jean
get
Grey
started
was.
on my second favorite X-Men of all time,
Second favorite X-Men of all
next
time.
to the Wolverine,
Oh.
is Rogue.
Ah.
Completely fucking wasted in those first 3 movies.
What's
Should
up?
not like
Who's
they wasted
Rogue?
that character.
Anna
Rogue was
Paquin.
Anna Paquin.
Oh,
If you watch the cartoons,
yeah, she was just
when people were younger, she could fly because she killed one of the Captain Marvels and got her powers. 'Cause She
Nice.
sucked the powers down so she could fly.
She ate her.
and she was way more powerful. She was a useless kid in those 3 movies, and then in the 3rd movie, she basically just turned
Well,
human.
when she touches people,
Yeah,
she's
touches
not
people.
useless.
Yeah, no, but she didn't do enough of that because she was
So-
a tortured child all through movies. So
She
yeah,
was.
that's a wasted movie for me.
There
That
you
character alone.
There you
But-
go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't
Mary
as good
knows.
as the other ones, but the first
Well,
2
you
were
know,
good.
meh.
the thing that
I got
that-
Patrick Stewart.
I
I got
was
Ian
gonna-
McKellen.
I was
I don't
gonna
know.
try and find.
I prefer the McAvoy.
I was trying to find because now I have to pick a rage, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll pull from Bryce's bag. But you know what?
Oh, sorry.
Still doesn't have one.
Apparently, there is no Bryce bag.
It's good.
So-
it's coming.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been hearing that for
So
the
it's
last 2
Christmas.
months.
It's
And
coming.
We're also not
And man,
prepared for
are you in
Christmas.
trouble once I
You know
fill
what?
that
I'm
bag?
not even worried because you know what? You're just gonna give me some action movies. Okay, so I'm pulling from the listener's
No, I'm
dare
not.
bag. Oh wait, I think we've watched this. Town and Country. Did we?
I've heard of it.
We reviewed this already.
I don't know.
Somebody
Could-
else dared me to see this.
Could be.
Yep. All right, let's go to something else from the listener dare bag. we're seeing
Who? What?
Going
We?
Overboard.
You, right? Not we.
Yeah.
Okay. You said we.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Going
You're seeing.
Overboard.
Oh, goody. That's an Adam Sandler movie.
Going Overboard.
Yeah, with Billy Bob.
Going Overboard's an Adam Sandler movie?
That's what it says. 1989.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better person to dare.
Sandler, Billy Bob, Billy Zane,
Oh, I like Billy Zane.
Burt Young,
Burt Young. He was
Ollie,
Polly. Hey, Polly.
and a bunch of people I don't know.
Nice. I can't wait. I love all those people except for
Struggling
Adam
young
Sandler
comedian
because it's a
takes
comedy.
menial job on a cruise ship. There you go. And that's I assume.
I'm
Adam
trying to
Sandler.
remember this movie. I don't really remember
heard of
it.
it.
Well, you're probably trying to forget.
Wasn't that like before he hit SNL? Wasn't he? Wasn't he in the 90s?
No, I think he was.
I thought the 80s was Dana Carvey and Mike Myers.
I think he.
Yeah, he was with
them.
Dana
Was he
Carvey
with
and
them?
Mike Myers. Yeah.
So it might have been when he just got on SNL then.
Maybe. You know what? I'm going to find out all
Before
these
his
things
Waterboy
and
days.
more.
All right.
Well, it's going to be an exciting weekend.
I want to watch Going Overboard.
I'll do
we
it
should
then.
watch it together. All right. Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family who you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey from The Nerdy Photographer for the voice of Rager Dare and our God of Rage. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. Everything's on sale, and Black Friday's coming, so get your granny panties on our site. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 make us rage. That's it for this week. Rage on!
Rage on.